I'm so excited for our conversation. Women and money and moms, and I'm really excited.
Me too. Thanks for working around the schedule and everything for me. And
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit, let's introduce yourself, and then tell me a little bit of how you got to where you are and like why because you're very passionate about where you're at. And what I found, a lot of women, like they don't just go right to business, right? They kind of start in something else and they'll like evolves, right? They find some success and like evolves into them teaching business and strategy and foundations and things like that. So I'm wondering if something similar like happened on your path.
yeah, so I started this whole journey, I would say about 3 years ago. So right after I had my daughter, I was a teacher. So I went and I did teaching for probably 10 years. I got a master's degree in education. I was very passionate about teaching. And then when I went off on maternity leave, I was home with my daughter and I just realized that I just didn't want to go back.
What kind of teacher?
I was early childhood education. So I would teach, well, I was in daycare for a while and then I transitioned. I taught kindergarten for a while and then I taught grade 8 for a little bit. And I've also worked at the college here as well,
Wow.
working with, they were around 20 years old, like fresh from high school, the first couple of years in, I taught early childhood education as a professor there. So I sort of have my feet in all of the different teaching ages, I guess. But I just really, really loved being a mom. And I always dreamed about being a mom. And then when I was home with her, I loved it so much. And I just thought, I don't want to go back. I don't want to miss any time with her. You know, those moments are just so precious. And so I thought, what can I do to be able to stay home with her, you know, financially? Because there was also this feeling of like, once you become a mom, it's like this feeling of you love being a mom, but then you still want to have something for yourself. You still want to feel like you're like, for me, contributing financially was like a really, like that gave me and made me feel really good and worthy and like I contributed. So I really wanted to have that. So I was like, how can I figure out a way where I could stay home with my daughter and also be able to make money and also have an impact, like connect with other women online and be able to support and help other people, because that was like a huge thing for me. So I was looking into everything and then I ended up starting like I started selling wedding robes online, and I
Did
sold
you
a
say
couple
like
wedding robes.
robes? Like a
Yeah, like
robe you put on?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like fancy robes, like the lace. Like I was like so obsessed with lace robes. So like when women got married, you know how they like you'd like wear like a little lace robe for like your boudoir or something. So I was selling these, I was doing like drop shipping. So I would do that. And then I was like, this is not really for me. And then I looked into Amazon and like trying to do Amazon and everything. And that was just like way too complicated. So then I eventually found Abraham Hicks.
Mm.
And and this is where it all started with Abraham Hicks. So then I discovered her, and then I was really into mindset. And I think I had a little bit of postpartum depression with my daughter too. So I was really feeling disconnect. And I was just like, it was like my soul was just begging for fulfillment. So once I started listening to Abraham Hicks, like everything started to shift for me. And then I was like, oh, why don't I like be a mindset coach online, and I can just talk about my journey and like mindset. So I started what was called Mindset for Moms. And so when I first launched my coaching business, it was under Mindset for Moms, and it was all about like mindset for moms and how to have a good mindset. And I would talk about like spirituality and stuff like that. But I still had no idea what I was doing.
Did you have like doubts about like, who am I to teach this? Or like, will this even work? Or what am I doing? Did that come up, or were you like just ready?
Oh no, I was very doubtful. I had a lot of that imposter syndrome of feeling like, okay, who am I and what am I doing? And so all I would do is post quotes because I'd be too scared to show my face. So I would be posting quotes and I would be like, yes, I'm a coach, but really I wasn't putting myself out there at all. So after this probably going on for about 8 months. And I watched all the free YouTube videos on like how to start a coaching business. And just, I signed 0 clients. It was just,
let me just pause. I love hearing that. And that I'm so obsessed with the journey, right? Because a lot of times we find people when they've reached some level of success and it's rare that we catch somebody on the way up, right? When you see them. So it's like, I will always, when I find someone, I always go back to the beginning, right? The beginning of their page or as far back in content, because like, I think it's so important for women. Like you said, I signed nobody, right? Like it's so important for us to like see the journey instead of just seeing where they are successfully. Like there's a process that they went through and an evolution, and it wasn't always pretty. And what I teach my clients is like, the only difference between you and someone who's massively successful is that they keep going.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. That's the only difference. These people kept going. Your success is there. So when you say like, I doubted myself and no clients, and like, I just think it's so important for women to hear and know, like we all start somewhere and it's a path, right? And then we're able to see that path in another, like Ann Herod talks about it. Like I launched and nobody signed up and this and that. And it was like, because she's massively successful now, it's so important for us and everyone to see, like she started, as a farmer with no confidence in herself. Like the process of self-transformation is real and it's possible.
It's so beautiful. And the one thing I really love about her is her authenticity and just the fact that she shows those raw beginning moments, because it's true when you first start, even the first 2 years, I find it's all about, well, I'm not as successful as so-and-so, or I'm not making, that much money. And really it's just the fact that they just kept going. And it was the same for me when I first launched. I mean, I would launch and then nobody would sign up. I would launch and like one person would sign up, but it's about thinking long term. But in the moment, it was so painful. It was like, what am I doing wrong? But really, it's a growth process. It's really getting familiar with the unfamiliar of it's that question, like, what if women join my program? Like, what would it feel like if I had women reaching out to me? So it's really about like playing with the whole what if. And I'm sure on your journey, like you've been able to expand as well, right? So now we see the potential different than a couple years ago when the whole journey started. Because before I would just look at my audience and think nobody wants to buy from me. Whereas now I'm like, no, there's people there right now. Right. But it's deciding that they're there, even if you can't see them, they're there. People want to buy from you. People want to invest. And it's just going first and deciding that, no, they're there and I'm ready. And I'm going to keep stepping outside of my comfort zone, investing. Like, I think investing in yourself, especially in that first couple stages and throughout, because even now I'm still investing in myself, but really investing in getting mentors that keep going, like keep showing up, and they teach you different things, and you just it's like you fail your way to success. That for me was like a huge thing. It's just failing and then try again and then try again, and then eventually you find something and it's like, oh, this is okay, this is working for me, let me keep going with this.
So what'd you find when you launched like that first mindset for moms and stuff? Like, so what happened? Like, how did that unravel?
Yeah, so when I was doing the mindset stuff, I would get inquiries about one-to-ones, but then it would just fall through. And then I started getting this passion because it was so hard for me to figure out how to even set up a coaching business. Then I decided, well, maybe I want to teach women how to start a coaching business, because this was a whole process in itself. So then that's when I pivoted into business coaching. And actually my first client was somebody who was the same situation as me. She was a mom and she wanted to start a coaching business. So I thought, well, I was able to figure out at least like how to create an offer and how to like set up the Instagram, how to do that, grow a social media following, and get people to inquire, even though no one signed up yet.
So wait, you pivoted into business coaching when you hadn't even had like anyone sign up?
Yes.
I fucking love it. I fucking love it. Oh,
because I think so many people, and they might want to be business coaches, but then they're like, well, how can I be a business coach if I haven't had any clients or whatever? But you're still one step ahead of somebody. Like, even if you just know this, how to grow an audience, how to get people to even just reach out and ask you about your offers. Like, that is something that like people want to know, even that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's how I signed my first client. And then what ended up happening was within a month, we changed her bio. I showed her like how to show up, how to talk about her offers. We created an offer for her. And within a month, she had a client. So it was like, it was valuable, like, so, so then from there, it was so much fun just to see, and first of all, experience having like my first client. Like, that was just amazing because you can see in your clients things that they can't see in themselves.
Right.
And that's the best part, is you're outside and you're like, no, like, I know you're going to be successful. I know, like, you can almost see their future without even them being able to fully see it yet for themselves. So it's so magical to have that relationship. And so when she had that moment of women reaching out to her, of her stepping into her confidence, of her like, coming up with her offers and stuff, and then eventually signing a client, that to me was just like, wow, this is the gold right here. I absolutely love this. So then from there, I just kept going. And then from there, actually, I launched my first group program, which was essentially everything I did with my one-to-one client, but I launched it as a group program. And I launched it for, I think it was about a month. I talked about it every day and nobody signed up.
Did you only have the one client when you launched the group? The group program was based on your experience from the one client.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And no one signs up for the group program.
Yeah. So nobody signed up for the group program. And then I really felt bad. And I thought, and I had moments because I would have people reach out. And I had this one time where I really wanted to quit because this one girl that I really wanted to work with, because you get client crushes, like you from your audience. I'm sure you probably have the same, but there's women in my world that I'm like, I know they want to work with me. I know they want to work with me. And like, I really want to work with them, but you have to just kind of wait till they decide. So she was asking me about one-to-one and stuff. And then she ended up hiring my coach at the time. Like and my coach at the time was charging like way more than I was. So I was just like, oh, this is really shitty. Cause like, I really wanted to work with her,
How did you process that, like emotionally and stuff? Cause that had to be really triggering.
I bawled my eyes out. I honestly wanted to throw in the towel. I was like, I'm not cut out for this. I'm not good enough for this, And I cried. I remember crying in my bed and I just thought like, I don't think I can do this anymore. And then luckily I was in a group program and I made friends with other coaches and I ended up talking to like one of the other girls in there and crying to her and she really understood it. And I think too, when you're in that beginning stage and all coaches, it's so important to find a community where you can talk about these hard things. Like when things happen in your business that don't go according to plan, it's good to have somebody to talk to, because like I couldn't talk to my husband about it. Like he would just be like, oh, I don't know. Like maybe you should, right? Like maybe you're not cut out for this, right? So it's good to have sisters. It's good to like be in a mastermind or at least be in some sort of community where other people can say, keep going, just keep going. So then right after that, I think it was a day or two later, I ended up signing a couple more clients. And I was like, wow, like, thank God I kept at it. Cause now, and then ever since then, it was just like.
To the one-on-one? You send them one-on-one clients? Okay.
Yeah. And then I launched the same program, the one that I had 0 signups. I launched it again, but then I launched my Facebook group. Like I started my Facebook group and I ended up getting 4 women sign up right away, super easy, at like over $1,000 a client for a group program. So then I made like almost $5,000 within the weekend. And I was like, oh, okay. It's, like now it's starting to pick up. Now it's starting to like go good.
This is the same program that you launched originally that no one came to, that these 4 women signed up for? Did you do any tweaking to the program before you relaunched it, or did you do inner work? Like, was there a difference in the program?
No difference in the program. But I did run a master class. So I guess my strategy was different. So
Okay.
instead of just talking about it in stories and sharing it on my Instagram, I ended up creating a master class that was kind of like a summary of the group program, tons
Yeah.
of value. And then I did the master class. And then from that master class, I had women sign up like right after the master class was done. So definitely I found like the more value, the quicker people sign up. Like, so that's when I really discovered like, okay, now I know that when I show up and I show a lot of value, like people tend to trust more, and then they just like, they'll dive right in. So I guess strategy wise, that was a big thing for me. So now I'm obsessed with Facebook. Like most of my clients come from Facebook now. So that's like where I hang out primarily, is inside my Facebook group and my personal profile. So, because I absolutely love the power of groups. Like it's insane. Like this one post I created, I discovered this last year. So I created just one simple post. It was like 5 sentences long, and it was talking about a new program that I had coming out. And I had like 300 people message, and then there was at least 6 people that, no, I think over 6 people that joined at $1,000. So from that one post, it was like $6,000 sale from that one post. And then I was hooked. I was like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever.
Wow.
So,
Is that like right after when you launched that mastermind? Because you told me, we talked in the DMs and you were like, I'm always launching. And I'm always launching like multiple things.
yeah. So last year I ran, I think, 4 different programs. So that first one, it was called like something about growing your business or something like that. And then that one I launched only a handful of times. And then I was like, okay, I want to come up with new things. So then I would come up with other different programs. And so I think I had 4 different programs throughout the year. Plus,
Where did you get the content for the programs? Because the other programs were from your life experience.
Yeah. So then it was a lot of strategy stuff, a lot of, so one was client attraction, because I really started nailing down the strategy in terms of like signing clients on Facebook. So it was mostly strategy with signing clients on Facebook coupled with the energetics, because like you said, the inner work is where it's like, that's the quantum leaping, because it could be the same program, but with a different energy, you're going to get a totally different result.
Absolutely.
So that was a huge thing, was realizing, wow, the energy shifts, like that's where that quantum growth comes in. So.
And then you said mastermind. So you brought in, this was last year, you ran 4 different programs and then and created was this your first year creating a mastermind?
Yes,
was last year?
Yeah.
Is that the one, the $100,000 club? Or was that a different one?
That's my membership.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I know it's kind of confusing. So I had the group programs, and then I had my mastermind, which was like anyone who was in the group programs who wanted to have that like voxer experience, then they would go into my mastermind. So I would have basically like the one-to-one, the mastermind, the group programs, and then like the smaller end offers. So I just launched my membership because I was like, I don't want to keep launching over and over. And I had so many programs. Like at that point, December, just like last month, I think I had like 7 or 8 programs that I ran, right? From like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I don't want to launch all these again. So I'm like, and they're all really good. So how can I just sell it without having to launch them all the time? So then I'm like, let's just create a membership. And then I can just have all my programs in there, and people can just join, and they can like either, go through one program, or they can go through a bunch of them, because they're all different, right? I have one that's specifically around Facebook, like marketing in Facebook. I have another one that's around mindset. I have another one around like growing your business, signing clients. So it's everything that I had to go through.
Yeah.
To where I am. So that's the fun thing, is like, it's all there. It's all there. And everyone can just dive right in. So
that's awesome. So how do you structure your group programs, and how do you structure your mastermind? So do you have a mastermind now, or you have the membership only?
So I do have a mastermind right now that I'm launching. I just ended the mastermind. So maybe
Of course you're launching it.
so I actually have, I have a couple people in my DMs right now, but I like to wait till there's at least like at least 4 women for a mastermind to start, because then really it's just one-to-one. So sorry, what was the question again?
If your mastermind and your group programs, and if your masterminds are different than the membership.
Yes.
Like how they're all structured.
Yeah, no problem. So the membership that I have is inside of a Facebook group. So this is how I run it. So it's inside of a Facebook group, and it's got inside the guide section, it's got all the courses. So it's only $88 a month, super affordable. And so people can come in there and they can get a ton of information. And then if they want to upgrade and they want to work with like me personally and also be with the with other ladies inside of with my mastermind, it's all through Voxer. So I use Voxer, and it's basically 24/7 chat. Like people can voice record message each other, or they can just text each other. And we're in there throughout the day and we're getting support and we're doing all that fun stuff. So it is different because it's much more, the mastermind is a lot more personal. Yes. Very.
So you don't ever see them. It's all like texting or voice.
Yes. Yeah.
And how much does that cost?
So I have 2 different options. If they're in the 100K coach club, then I offer them like a discounted rate. And then I have my wealthy coach mastermind, which is $1,111 per month, or I think it's $5,000 for 6 months paid full. Yeah. So I do have the 2 options because for me, it's really important, like for the clients that I already have in my world, I want to make sure that they get almost like the best deal. Because I love that. I love being able to like reward women that like continue to work with me. So that's how I kind of structure it. So they get a little bit of a different structure. But some of them just want to pay like the full price. So I'm like, okay.
I'm taking notes because you sound like you have so many like moving parts, but you're like good with it. It sounds like it feeds your energy. That like you actually like having all this moving parts.
Yeah. And it's weird because I'm a projector, right? So it's like, I don't know, but to me it's exciting, and it keeps things exciting, and it doesn't get stagnant. And so anytime I want to change something in my business, like it's like I can easily do it. So that's what I love about all the different components. But the thing is, the way it's set up, it doesn't require a lot of my energy. Like I really only work on my business like an hour, maybe 2 a day. Because especially like in the voxer chat, it's just whenever, like throughout the day, if the kids are napping, like I pop in there. If we're going for a walk, I pop in there. So it's really flowy
and easy.
Yeah.
And you're just providing like feedback, right? Or tips or tools or whatever's like necessary, whatever's being called for. And they're paying you to do that.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Did you have to do, and the inner work is my jam. Like that's what I work with my clients on, is really, that's what we do, like the deep inner work. Did you find that you had to do the inner shifting of work in order to magnetize even these experience where you have $1,000 masterminds and things? Like, was there a lot of kind of like unearthing and healing that happened within you in order to produce those results on the external?
Yeah, a lot of the money mindset, and really realizing that there's women that desire to pay at any price point. Like that was something that was so huge, was like you can charge whatever you desire to charge, and there's always going to be women out there that want, that want to pay that. So that's really reassuring, because I found that when I launched things in the pricing, like it was either underpriced and I felt like my energy is like almost too drained for this, then I would almost get like bitter, like a little bit resentful.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't sell as well, right? Or if I priced it too high and I felt like, well, is anyone actually going to pay that? And then I had this doubt, then it would be the same thing. Like I wouldn't get the feedback. But when it was right on, when the price point was just so perfect, And I believe that, yes, like I'm worthy of this, my program's worthy of this, or whatever offer is worthy of this. And also like feeling like there's actually women in my vicinity that desire to pay this. That was such a huge game changer. So yeah, pricing is its own thing.
I actually had that written down. I wanted to talk to you about your relationship with pricing. And that's what I've heard from a lot of the books and the women and my mentors and different things that are like, it's such an intuitive experience.
Yeah.
And there is the lower, right? And you're going to find that resentment because you don't want to show up for that. Why am I getting up? I'm putting in so much work and I'm not being rewarded, for the value that I give. And then if you can outprice yourself and then you'll receive feedback because you're out of alignment, right? So you're going to hear crickets or, but you find that right middle ground. And I love that you said that there's women that will pay at all price points.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we can like cement that in, because the other question I was going to ask you is your relationship with money. And so not just like money mindset's a big thing. Like I was talking to somebody yesterday, my most traumatic like experience in childhood, my most traumatic relationship I find is with money, not an actual person.
Mm-hmm.
So I've set out to do like a lot of healing work. So it's not even like changing my mind around money, but it's like deep like I'm wounded through experiences with money. So I'm wondering how, and maybe the evolution of your relationship. I know, teachers is like a base salary, right? And now you're unlimited salary because you're an entrepreneur, and so how your relationship with money has evolved, and then even the pricing, and then you're receiving, because that's another thing, women, we don't receive well. We're givers, but the receiving, so if you want to go in on kind of where your relationship has evolved over time and where you're at now.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like very similar to your journey where I had a really bad relationship with money probably even starting in my teenage years. And I just always felt like money wasn't there for me. Like I almost felt abandoned by money, like if there wasn't enough. And I would always there was never enough for me to like pay for things. And I remember this one time, I think I was in my early 20s and we were out on a friend's trip. And I was working a job and everything. And we were at the end of our trip and we were coming home, and I had only so much money like for the trip. And I remember coming home and we stopped at Subway to get like some lunch and whatever. And I remember looking, and I think I only had like $2 or something. And I remember thinking like, I don't even have enough money to like buy a sandwich right now. So I had so much shame, and I just sat there, and I remember like my friends would go, "Oh, what are you going to get?" And I just had so much shame around it that I just said, "Oh, I'm not hungry. Like, I'm okay. I'm just going to sit." And I remember sitting there and like everyone's eating their sandwich. And I just had just this feeling of just like, wow, like this is rock bottom right now. I can't even buy myself a sandwich, So, yeah, my relationship with money has come such a long way. And even just like forgiving certain situations, because I think for myself too, because I was such a giver, I would almost, and a people pleaser as well, I would always felt like I had to compensate for certain things. So I ended up like paying for a lot of people's things when really like I should have been taking care of myself, not other people. So I really had to heal this part of me. Like I don't have to give money away to people in order to be valuable, right? And I'm valuable as it is, and I'm also valuable to receive. Like you said, I'm allowed to be paid for just literally being me. And that's why coaching, like when you're that first client, that's what's so magical about it, because you start to realize like, wow, I can be compensated financially just for being me, like for doing what I love. And that is the most beautiful thing. It's literally like the most incredible experience. And I think that changes everybody's whole world and relationship with money when they become an entrepreneur, because you finally get to be compensated and feel that love doing and being who you are, like unconditionally. So a lot of it was just around this whole like the worthiness. I found that worthiness was a huge thing. I really had to heal feeling worthy of receiving the money and receiving more and more amounts of money. Because when I first started, I think my one-to-one was like 400 444 a month or something. And now it's like 2,222. And I even upped it to, well, right now it's 6,000 pay in full for 3 months. And women right now, they're like, oh yeah, okay, that sounds good. And it's just like, wow, receiving and hearing that that's completely acceptable to have that kind of money. It's just amazing. So definitely just like feeling safe around money and feeling worthy of money was a huge thing. And I just had to keep like being aware of my money as well. Cause I think that when, back in this time, I was very much like, shove it away, don't look at it, cause it's not enough. And since I would say it's not enough, it was always enough. And that's why the law of assumption and all of this, like the energetics behind it, is so important, because what we say to money, it's literally going to, like, it's going to continue to happen in that way. So the more that we can say like, I have enough, I am enough, and really feel that within our bodies, that was such a huge shift. Because now, like, even holding on to money, like that's another huge thing too. Holding on to money and then allowing that money to grow comes down to feeling comfortable holding money and being able to receive larger and larger amounts. So yeah, money loves us, and money just wants to support us, but we have to say, no, this is how money is around me, right? Just like how we talk about certain people, like if we look at a certain person and we say, oh yeah, they really like me, or they love me, or whatever, and you'll start to see they start treating you so much different, right? It's like the exact same for money, from what I've found. So yeah, having that relationship with money is transformational. And it's I think a huge part of being a successful coach is that money relationship, because that's how that's how we're getting paid, and that's how we're receiving, really, in the coaching space.
Yeah. And you nailed it when one of the things I had to work through is I come from being a corporate executive. I easily could earn money very easily in a high paying job, being paid, exchanging my effort and time. What I really had to shift through was like somebody paying me for my skills, my talents, my wisdom, my intelligence, that was so something was awkward. What do you know? I can get paid very easily in a job, but getting paid to be myself.
Yeah.
It's something that comes so easy. This work is like, I breathe it. Yeah. I don't have to try at all. Like it's very, divine gifting. And so the thought of receiving abundance, like, and it seems unnatural. Like if we break it down, it's like, of course I receive abundance for who I am, but it was like, where did we get that, distorted? That it's like the opposite. Like once you kind of get out of the cloud, you can see how like messed up it is, like how just cross-wired, like it would seem awkward that somebody pays me to do something I don't want to do. It's much more natural for me to receive for something I do like to do, Tell me because a lot of the work I do with my clients is confidence. What are your favorite kind of tools and techniques that you used on your journey to help you improve your confidence and worth? And then your business was able to reflect that back to you.
Yeah, I would say a lot of it was just the consciously having that dialogue as if I were my first client, right? Like really, if there was times when I felt unworthy or felt I lacked, and the confidence thing is literally just showing up and just doing it. Like for me, that was such a big thing, was just, okay, let's just, give yourself a pep talk, get on there and just like do it. And the more I did it, the more I showed up on camera, the more natural it felt. And now it's just like, no problem. Like I went on and I did a live the day before yesterday, and I like, didn't shower for a while. I had no makeup on, and I was just like, I had this downloaded. I'm like, I have to share this with my community, and I can't even wait. I'm not even going to do my makeup. I'm just going to pop on, and like, I know they're going to love me no matter what. And that I would have never done that when I first started.
I love
so just
it.
that, like, yeah, for me, it's like that self-talk and just that, like, just showing up and doing it. And I'm sure there's a lot of really, really good extra tools that I could use. But those were just the things that I just had to, kind of talk myself into it and show up and kind of kick myself. But it definitely, stretches the comfort zone, and then you get rewarded for it. It feels really good.
What do you think? Because tools exist for everyone, right? Like you found something that works, right? That rearranging the self-talk and the pep talk like really works for you. Like, what do you find? And I sometimes can't find the words to describe it, but it's like I teach on like when a woman makes a decision, I mean, the entire cosmos, like when she locks into like, I'm doing this and there is no other option. Like, do you feel like that informed, like, do you feel like you had locked in on the decision of like, I'm making this happen? And then when that like negative self-talk starts to come in, because you were so locked in, you were like, listen, we're going to rearrange this because we're going to show up. But do you think that's a byproduct of you like deciding this is what we're doing? So it was easy to pep talk yourself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's a really, like, I feel like you described that really, really well, because I don't even know if there's a real word for that in the English language, of just like that potent like decision.
Yes.
And just like it's that. And it's actually interesting because I talked about this in, I just did a program all around client attraction, and it's true. There's this energy of like excitement and desire that is just so powerful. And it typically, like for me, it typically comes when I am like doing something for myself. Like if I'm dancing in the kitchen with my kids, or out for a walk in nature, or doing something that I'm just like so just open, and then a download will come, and then I'll just be like, oh my God, I'm doing this. This is amazing. Let's go. And then just like literally, and then I'll like talk about it either through like story, a post or something like that. And then the feedback, it just like, it's like it lands in a different way for people. And then it's like so magnetic. And then people will just like pop into the DM, sign up for the programs. Like, and it's true. And it's that potent magnetism that comes from, I think it's a combination of like pure desire and like surrender and trust. It's almost like that trifecta. So when we are able to get in those moments more, I think it just collapses time, and it's just the most incredible thing. So that's why really, as an entrepreneur, it's so important for us as women to like really take care of ourselves in this, because the world can be so busy working online all the time. I know I get in my head a lot if I'm on social media too much, just like scrolling. I start doubting myself, like different things like that. So it's so good for us to just unplug and like go dance, or go work out, or go in nature, just like
Or play.
Yeah, just play and have fun. And then I think that's where the ease really comes from, because it's just this trust of like, I know when I take care of me and I go play, that like I make more money and I sign more clients, and it's just
My
so much
girlfriend
better.
told me the same thing. She's also in the coaching space, and she was like, I play and my abundance grows. It's like this magic connection. Like the more fun I have, like outside my business, like
Yeah.
not connected to the bit, then my business grows. And I was like, what's happening there? Like the magic. And there's definitely, us playing with spirit and energy, that like the more play and fun we have, the more abundant, we see
Yeah.
materialized.
Yeah. It's so magical. It's
You
like
see,
unicorn.
that's it. And you get so, I love it. You get so charged. Like you can tell, like this work really, really lights you up.
Yeah. The
I have
energy is
no
like
desire to
crazy.
teach business. None. Because so many people I know, like didn't, like I was telling you, didn't start out with business, right? You talked about mindset and they just kind of move into business. And I always wonder like what happened to me. And it was like, I just love this work so much. Business doesn't excite me to teach on, but like, you want to talk about deep inner healing trauma wound work, like I'm there, like that's what lights me up,
Yeah, and it's so good because you can get, like, the sky's the limit, like you said. Like, you can impact so many people, and you can become so abundant doing what you love, and you don't have to change it. If anything, it just gets better and better.
Yeah, that's what I'm programming right now, like up and up only. The better it
Yes.
gets, the better it gets. Like a lot of money's here to support me. You know, I'm working with the energies of like you were talking about, like women love to be in my world and pay me for my gifts, and like just really integrating that belief. So it's just who I be, you know, it's
Yeah.
just the natural way that I think.
Yeah.
Tell me about, I know, tell me about the structure of your programs. And when you launch, like you talked about having downloads, is it almost like I'm out, I have a download, I create a program and I share it with the world? Or is like, do you really put in some like thought and structure around what the offering is, how long the price, like, does that happen kind of instantaneously for you? Or is it something
Yeah.
that you like actually work and plan out?
Yeah, a lot of it is it just comes to me. And this is the craziest thing. The times that have been the most successful for my group programs have literally been where I'm dancing in the kitchen, like with my baby on my hip, and then I'll get this idea of like, this is the program name. This is like the gist of it, of what we're teaching. And then I do like, I'll hop on my computer, I'll do like a quick branding thing with like the title and like the gist of it. I'll put it out there. And then it's because that energy of like, this is amazing. I don't know everything about this yet, but it's gonna be so good. So like, let's start talking about it, create some buzz around it. I'll figure out the details later. Like it's all gonna work out. It's gonna be great. And then people respond so well to it. And then after, like as people start joining, then I'll get more downloads for like, okay, I'm feeling like it's gonna be this many weeks, this many calls, or you know, this long. It's gonna include this and this and this. But initially, it's literally just like the name, the gist of it, get the branding done, put it out there, and all the details come later. And it always works out like so perfect. And everyone is always like, that was so good. And it's just like, because even the people that join, it's right for them. It's like that divine, like people can just tell. And
Yeah.
a program, even just from the energy of like the name of it, or, and that's why even with pricing, like a price point, like some people will be so turned on by a price point and others will be like, no, like that's not for me. Right. But you're going to be calling in those perfect soulmate clients with that certain price and that certain name and that certain like way that it's structured. So it's so perfect. It always works out. It always blows my mind. Like, how is it so easy that way?
I'm wondering because you say it so confidently, right? Like I get the download of dancing and I share it and like you just, you know, it's going to work. You know, it's going to be fun. Did you learn that over time from launching and like having it evolve from nobody, but to actually like becoming something that's exciting, that works? Like, is the confidence you have today a result of like past experiences, having the downloading, sharing, getting feedback? Do you know what I mean? Like, are you confident because it's happened before and you can rely on past experience, or are you just so aligned that like, I know this is going to work?
Yeah, I think I'm so obsessed with the idea that it's like, even if no one were to sign up, which like when you're that passionate about something, for some reason it always works out. But it's almost like when you do it for yourself, like every single time I did it for myself, and then other people would almost like mirror that
Yeah.
excitement and that same energy back. So it's almost like, and I tell my clients this too, it's like, do it for you. Do it for you first. Like whatever the program is, you do it for you. Cause even if no one showed up, like you would still be obsessed with it. You would
Yeah.
still love it. You would still benefit from it. And then what happens is, because you're in so much in this desire and excitement, like people can't help but like be excited too and want more information and want to join and be mirroring literally back to you that exact same thing. Because so many people, and this is the other thing, I did a poll inside of my group and I said, do you join programs because of the information that's included, or because of like the teacher, the mentor, the coach who's hosting it? And so many of them said they do it because of who's actually teaching it. So I was like, wow, that's so
Wow.
incredible. So really, does it even matter what we teach on? Like, right? Like, as long as we're happy and we're excited, that they're literally buying because they're buying that experience. They're buying, like,
Yeah.
they're buying you essentially. They're buying that energy. So yeah, I always find it so fascinating. Like, and even sometimes too, like with the membership, there's women in there and I don't even know if they go through the material. Like, I think they just joined because I want to be here. I want to be a part of the energy, but like, I don't need to, um, take advantage of every single thing that's in there. Cause a lot of people do, but some people will just buy my programs and then just like, that's like, maybe they're there for a little bit and then you know, they're just like, I'm good. And I'm just like, wow, like obviously they just felt called to almost like just be supportive, right? Just because I was so excited, they were just like, yeah, like sign me up, right? Whereas and they're always happy with it. So it's so crazy. So that's why I always say, like, do it for you. Always like create your programs for what you love, and that's what your audience ultimately wants. Like, they just want you to be happy. Like, they just want to, they want to see that magnetic woman who's just like dancing on the stage, who's like just so happy and doesn't care who's watching, and it's so magnetic.
Yeah, there's tons of programs that I bought like just to be in her energy. Like I
Yeah.
love, she's teaching me something that I want to learn about, but it was like, I just want to be around this person. I just want to hear her talk. And like, I'll be doing other stuff and I'll put on like podcasts or YouTube or something just so I can hear, because there's a transformation that happens just in a word. So I totally get it. Like, but I think we can overthink it. Like, is my program good enough? But you nailed it. It's like the information is probably like 25%, whereas like the vibe that you bring is 75.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause a lot of the information, like, really, people could Google, right? People could Google a lot of the stuff. There's tons of YouTube information. Like, there's so much, like how to grow a Facebook. Like, the one program I have is all around growing Facebook groups, finding clients through Facebook. How many YouTube videos are free, teach the exact same thing, yet people are going to sign up for my program for like almost $1,000, but it's the exact same information, right? Well, not exactly, but it's based on my experience. But if they want just the step by step, a lot of times people can get that for free somewhere else. So they really essentially are purchasing that experience, that energy, that mentor, that coach. So that's
and the way you express and interpret. Because what I've noticed is there's rarely any new information. Even a lot of the mentors and things that I listen to, like, they're not telling me anything new.
Yeah.
What is unique is their expression and interpretation of this old data or wisdom, or, like that's what we buy into, is like that personal, you express it in a way that no one else can because of your uniqueness. So you and I can say the same sentence and somebody will like totally lock in with what you said, right? Oh my God, Kristi, that's genius, right? I can say the same thing and they're like, or vice versa, right? Because it's how it's delivered and received. And like, that's the magic element that like we don't have pinpointed, right? It's just kind of the mystery.
Yeah. And even examples too, like, right, there's going to be certain coaches that we're drawn to just simply for who they are. Like, even for me, like, moms are going to be a lot more attracted to me because they're like, oh, how do you, like, you are living with 2 kids. Like, there's going to be things that I'm going to go through that me 5 years ago, it wasn't the same, right?
We didn't even touch on that with you being a mom in business. We talked about money and business. I have 3 kids myself, so I very much relate. Mine aren't as little as yours anymore, but it's a real thing. And it's so important, again, having that be mirrored. Like, here's a young lady with young kids doing it, entrepreneur, self-sufficient, so how it sounds like you set up your business to support you, like being home, being present with the kids. Are they old enough to be in school? Not yet. They were pretty young.
Yeah, my daughter's 3, and then Ben. So Emma's 3 and Ben is 9 months.
Okay.
So they're they're teeny tiny. But that's another reason why, like, I love seeing coaches that share their personal life, like that share their kids and share. And of course, certain coaches don't feel comfortable doing that, but I feel like that is a huge component to the experience of learning from that coach, depending on, what they're navigating in their own personal life too, is such a huge part to learning business, like, the way I do business is and moms in general doing business is very different than somebody, a single woman who has a lot more time, and is able to even like, even travel too, right? But it's just a different setup, and it's still going to attract the perfect soulmate clients. Like they're going to love no matter what. Like it's crazy because when I first had Ben, I thought, well, now that I have a newborn baby, like who's going to sign up for my programs? Right. Like I almost felt this whole,
they're
like,
not even related, but we'll attach it.
yeah. I was like, I'm not going to have time. I don't know how this is going to work. And, like a month, I think Ben was like 3 or 4 weeks old, and I had a sold out group program, and I was like, it has nothing like, and people bought because they're like, what? You're still showing up and you just had a baby? Like, that was like, it's expansive. So yeah, I think no matter what, like, and that's what amazes me about moms in business is like, they can just do it all. Like it's literally, it blows my mind all the time. Like how we just make it work. Right. Like
we can.
we
Yeah,
figure it out.
absolutely. But again, back to the original, like when you decided, right? When you had Emma, I don't want to go back to teaching. I'm going to do something else. You made a decision. You locked in I'm going to make this work because this is what I want. And ultimately that's what you did. I wanted to ask you about the structure of your programs, like how you decide that. And so the membership, do they have access to all your previous launched programs that you don't currently launch anymore? And they have access to you, or just strictly the programs?
Just the programs. I am introducing, actually tonight, we're going to be doing a live Zoom call. That's going to be like a group Zoom call. So
in the membership, or is this
in the membership? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is once a month inside the membership, I'm going to have like an open Zoom call. So whoever's in the membership that wants to come, it's almost like an open hour, like coaching session. And the reason why is because 2022 for me for my business is really going to be focused around relationships, because and over delivering and really like getting deep with my clients, even if they are in that startup membership, right? So, and the reason is because I deeply value and I really respect, and I can see the coaches who really truly value and care about their clients, like even if they are, paying like what's quote unquote like the low ticket item, to have that same respect as like the one-to-one client, right?
Yeah.
So I really want to have that dialogue of like, no matter where you are with me, if you're in my one-to-one or if you're in my membership, and even in the free group, but also, with free stuff, we have to kind of have, we have to have certain boundaries in everything that we do. But for me, it's really about building those deep relationships, because even word of mouth, like I realized how powerful word of mouth is too. So when somebody's satisfied and they're like, that was so good, like I really felt like they cared about me, I felt like the information was really good, I felt like I got my money's worth and some, they're going to talk about, like they're going to be happy, and that's going to really, be good for the reputation. So that's something I wanted to introduce. So I'm starting that this month. And I think too, what I found is, as I introduce more like personal ways to work with me, even at the lower end price, people really feel deeply connected to me, and then they trust me more, and then they're like, oh, they're more open to those higher level things as well.
Yeah.
So no matter what, it's beneficial for both of us, because I really want to build strong relationships with everyone in my community. Like that's going to be a huge thing going forward, is just really like emphasizing the relationships over the sales. Like to me now, it's just the relationships. Whereas before, but also I think that's true because, when we first start business, we're like, how are we going to survive financially, right? But that's why it's so good to have the membership, because it is that reoccurring income, which is it feels very safe as a coach.
Yeah.
So I really recommend for like all coaches to have a membership, because there's always going to be things, even if, like a coach ran a program 2 years ago, like they can still take that, put it in their membership, and then have that reoccurring income. So they're still making money and supporting clients with things they've done in the past, even master classes, challenges, like anything like that. Throw that in the membership, because people love to have access to all all of that stuff. So that's, yeah. So I love it. It's been about just over a month now, and there's over 15 ladies in the membership, which to some is not a lot, but to me, I'm like, wow, that's really.
No, and let me say something there. I think, and this can get lost, like one person is a human being who you're connecting with. So I know a lot of the ladies we, you know, mentor with and work with and stuff, and like they're talking just enormous numbers, right? They're following their income, they're all that, but it's like, my desire is to always celebrate every win, whether, you know, one person, one sign up, one anything is something to celebrate. So even when it's 5,000 or whatever the number is, like, it'll still be just as meaningful as one, because I think we can get lost in the numbers and like celebrating every little win. Yeah. Like especially the inner wins, right? Like, am I more confident today? Do I believe in myself? Did I put myself out there today? Win, right? Celebrate all that. So 15 people, let me just celebrate you. Because that's 15, I'm assuming they're women. I'm assuming that women are your community. Yeah. That's 15 women that, you know, you're impacting, and they're impacting you and your family. And like, that's something to celebrate and not gloss over. Yeah. I know. It's so great. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. So very, very thankful for that. And yeah, it's just great. It's fun. The journey of growing a business it's a very personal one. Yeah. Sure. I tell it's like your spiritual development is in your business. Like, it will grow you like Noah. I mean, having kids is pretty close. That'll grow you as a person. And next up is being an entrepreneur, is having a business. Yeah. I did want to ask you the structure. This is from my own personal information. Your one-on-one, what does that look like? And then also the structure of your mastermind. Your mastermind is voxer only, right? And that's, is that Monday through, did you set days on that, or is that just open all the time? It is open, but a lot of my clients like literally don't even really show up on the weekends unless something's kind of going on, like if they're launching or, you know, something comes up, like they want to just chat about it. But a lot of people, I have a lot of moms too, like in my higher end stuff. So a lot of them on the weekends, it's like family time, like because their husbands are home and stuff. So they might be like, you know, more busy than normal. But yeah, so one-to-one is a private voxer chat. And then they also get the mastermind, and they get any live courses that I'm doing and the membership. Like, they kind of just get it all. And then I'm introducing in my one-to-one, I want to make it more luxurious, but I'm including like a gift. So like when they sign up with me, they get like, I'll order like flowers for them. Are you really inspired by Ann Herod? Oh yeah. She's amazing. Oh my God, I love her. Yeah. I love her authenticity, and just like, she's very confident, and I'm still like, I still find I do hold back a little bit sometimes, but she's just like 100%. This is who I am. Like, what do you mean you hold back? Well, I think I still have a little bit of people pleasing in me, you know, like I might not share absolutely everything just because I would be afraid, like, well, what if my family sees that or something, right? Because, you know, like because sometimes my family will say, oh, what are you doing online and stuff? And so I explain it, but some people don't fully get it. So I tend to hold back a little bit with my family. I just keep it very like, yeah, I'm doing this. Okay, it's going really good. Okay, yeah. What's the price for your one-on-one? So for 6 months, or for 3 months, it's $6,000. For monthly, it's $2,222. And then the mastermind, which would be like not the one-to-one, but you get the group voxer. And with the mastermind, it's the same. Like, you get the group programs and the membership. So that is $1,111 for a month, or $5,000 for 6 months. Yeah. Now, did you like we talked about pricing a little earlier, but how do you address increasing your prices? And I'm sure you've increased from day one to get to the prices that you're at now. How do you like address and do that? Do you have like a set time, or is it like intuitively we're going up, or like how do you do that?
Yeah, it's just what do I desire right now? Like, it's just solely, I just
like easiest answer ever. Whatever I want.
Yeah, it's just like what feels really good, And also, right, the more that we invest in ourselves, the more that it's almost like our logical brain can get behind, okay, now like I feel like I can justify having this price point too, right? So I think it's kind of like that balance of, do I feel like this is good on both ends? And a lot of it just comes by pure desire. Like, what do I desire right now? And then once the number starts to feel like, doesn't like get me excited anymore, that's when it's time to up the price. Yeah.
That's a perfect analogy. And how does it feel like running all this? Because you actively have this, you always have one-on-one available, right? You always have the membership, and you always have the mastermind running. And then you wild card with your group launches, right? With your downloads and stuff. Like, how do you have all that running simultaneously? And do you have a team? I didn't even ask you.
No,
but you're a one-woman show?
Yeah, I am actually, I'm like interviewing VAs right now. So I will be hiring one probably this month. But yeah, I find that my clients, because of the way that the higher level is set up, it's almost like they lead themselves very well. So they really only come to me like if they really like need support, and we work really quick and potently, and they shift really fast. So even over time, it's almost like they need me less over time. So the shuffle with like the new clients coming in and the clients that I already have, they tend to need me less as our time goes on. But the shifts, like the more that we shift things, it's almost like the easier it gets, but they still have access. And that's what a lot of them love, is like that access where it's like at any time, like you can message me anytime. So a lot of women just love to have that access, even though they won't necessarily use it all the time, right?
So you have the private voxer with your one-on-ones. You don't have like a set, like we talk for an hour each week. You have it just open. Did you ever have like we schedule a call each week? Was that ever like how the one-on-ones were? And you evolved out of that?
Yeah, I just said now I'm just doing voxer because I just couldn't handle that many clients with that many calls with two little kids. Like so now my calls are just with my group. Like if I do a group program, or if I do the off, like, you know, if they really like, if they want to call, like I will schedule, especially with one-to-ones, like we will do it. But honestly, we can shift the same stuff in voxer, and it's like there's no wasted time, you know, like it's kind of like we just get to the point, and then the shifts happen, and I've like nobody's ever complained about it. They love it. Like if anything, it expands them.
Just text and voice? There's no video?
There's no video with that.
So sometimes do you not even know what your clients look like?
Well, I follow them on social media. Like I'll watch their stories and like, so yeah, I do feel like I really know them. And I do like, I'll like watch their stories. I'll watch their videos. Like, so I always know who they are. It's just, we won't always have that face to face, but I feel like to me, it's still very intimate, even just over voice. Like I still feel very, it's very intimate. Mm-hmm.
Do you have an application process, or it's just open to anyone?
Yeah, it's open to anyone, but if there were to be somebody where I feel like it wouldn't be a good fit, I would maybe suggest somebody else. But I've never really had that. It's always been like the most perfect clients will come, because desire, I find, works on both ends. Like if you desire them, they desire you. So it's always like that perfect. If I desire them, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like this is good, you know?
Do you set, this is so good, so good. Do you set like intentions? Like I want to call in like 5 new one-on-ones this week, or I want, 20 women in my group program, or like, do you kind of like set intentional container, like numbers that you want to see or women you want to impact? Is that something that you like actively do or practice?
I would say the energy is there. Yeah, definitely like the intention. but I always like make sure it feels comfortable, because sometimes I find like if I reached for too high of a number, then I might get overwhelmed and think, I don't know if I can handle that, if you know what I mean. So it's always
Yeah.
a number where I feel like, okay, this is manageable. Like, because even with my kids, like that requires a lot of energy. So I want to make sure that my business energy is like, it works well with my family. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. So you'll have to schedule. Is the reason you got to Voxer was because the kids, right? Like I
Yeah.
love what I really am getting out of all these like details and stuff is like you designed your business to like fit your family
Yeah.
and your desires.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Highly
Right?
recommend. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. And
Yeah.
that's what was funny when I'll write out stuff and I was like, what do I even want? You know?
Yeah.
And it was like, sometimes it takes women, like I've learned a lot from Inherit as far as like what's possible
Yeah.
because of choices she made and decided. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even think that was possible.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't think right now my one-on-ones are a call. I'd like to see a person.
Yes.
I
Yes.
really enjoy that. But we have a set call each
Yeah.
week. And then you come in with this like, hey, this is how I do it. I have an open voxer, right? Anytime, any day. And I just get to it when I can. And I was like, okay, so here's another way to do it. Like I just got expanded with
Yeah.
another option of how to, run my one-on-ones.
Yeah. And how many calls do you want to do? Because obviously if you love the face-to-face, it's like, well, how much do I want to do that? And honoring the fact that you love doing that. And then saying like, how do I want to structure this? And give yourself permission to do it that way, because it's going to work so beautifully. And then you're honoring your desires, and it's going to work out so beautifully in the end.
But that's a lot more energy. Like, even though I love it, like I love this, and I might edit this out of the podcast. It's just between me and you. I love this, but I think I do my podcast interview on Zoom and then just do the audio because I feel like we connect way more than if I was just on the phone, right?
Yeah,
Like this is
yeah.
way better. So if I just keep my podcast interview, because it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Like we just spent an hour exchanging energy. So when I have, a full week of one-on-one calls, it's a big energy exchange.
Yeah.
So when you have this Voxer and your high level clients, you mentioned it too, they don't need as much.
No.
So, and then you've removed the face aspect and you just get to it. I bet the energy exchange still potent, but less draining on you, I imagine.
Yeah.
Did you find that from when you moved from face to face to Voxer that it was a lot less?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Way less draining. And it was great because I don't like if they, message me at 2:00 or something, it's not like I have to at 2:01 send them a message, right?
Yeah.
So it's really like, okay, I space out like times in my day where I can really be attentive to Voxer, but it really isn't that, it doesn't require that much time. You can send a 3-minute Voxer clip that'll literally like change someone's life.
Yeah. No, I think you're onto something. I actually think I'm going to make some chips. Thank you for that.
Good.
That's brilliant. But I think what I really love about it is like how you let your desires lead you. Like that, I think is the most important part. You know of Amanda Francis.
Yeah.
She is like the queen of that, like just creating based on, because she's just believes wholeheartedly in like my desires are holy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what a thought.
Yeah.
What a thought,
so good.
She's definitely a big expander.
Yeah.
Kristi, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for your time, for your energy. One of my goals this year was like finding more of like a soul tribe.
Yeah.
And so I'm like picking out women, and I hope that we continue to stay in touch and be a part of each other's world. Like you were saying, like, because there's a difference between like when you run the mastermind, like you're kind of like the head of the mastermind, but I'm looking for like a group of women that's like, we're peers, right? So we all come to the table, but it's like, I don't need you to coach me, and I don't, you don't need me to coach you. And it's like, let's just come together because your day is filled with you leading, right? And you're a parent, right? So it's like all day
Yeah.
you're giving out from a high level.
Mm-hmm.
What do? I want to be respectful of your time. My last question. What do you do to like balance out your motherhood and leading a business and being at the head of the business, as far as always being like the one that they're coming to? What do you do to like not be in that position, right? And just to play and relax and have fun, or even like maybe girlfriend time where it's like no one's asking for business advice, or right, they just want to be with you, you know?
Yeah.
Like what do you do for that, to feed that part of your soul?
Yeah, definitely. So Friday nights are date nights with my husband. So that's what we do. We hang out, we normally don't talk like anything business or anything. We just have fun, play, watch shows, like play games, like a
So
date,
without the kids, right?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
after the kids go to bed, yeah. And then family, like prioritizing family. And then like now, we have a connection. I'm sure we're gonna stay in touch, so just having like literally like friends online where you can just doesn't you don't even have to talk about business all the time. You can just say, hey, how's it going? Like, um, how's life? What are you up to? Like, how's your personal life? And bonding in those ways too is really important. So yeah, I think having that friendship and family time is it's really good, because it's true, especially like as moms, that's so masculine anyways too, right?
Yeah. Do you have a group of girlfriends that you connect with?
Online mostly. Nobody really in my I mean, I do have friends, like
Yeah.
normal friends, but they're not in business outside,
Isn't it
outside of the
funny?
online.
I have all these friends I met online.
Yeah.
Like it's so, and you and I, we connected before even this conversation about
Yeah.
going through, right, Unherod's programs together. And we're talking about clearing stuff and like the loss of our, men in our life. And yeah, it was so funny. Like I'm finding this collection of girlfriends and they're all online.
Yeah. Soul sisters.
Right? But that's
Yeah.
something I intentionally called in this year, was that because my life is packed with my business. I have 3 kids, my husband, right? And it was like what I'm missing. I have, girlfriends here, but what I'm missing is like my girlfriends here aren't like,
Yeah. You get it. You get it.
Yeah. So I'm finding these women online, which is really, it's cool. It's really cool.
It. I know,
but thank you for being a part of my world.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Oh, I will. I'm sure the kids are like Anthony texted me, so I'm sure the kids are like, okay, where's mom?
An hour? I will kick my husband out of the house for like multiple. If I have stuff to do, if I have clients and stuff, I'm like, I need like 3 hours. Go.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day, Hen.
You too. Thank you. Bye.